Good afternoon, everyone. I'm going to start with the new topic Industrialization and Imperialism. And the book is Global Politics by Andrew Heywood. So let's have a background look at the events that led the global politics up to imperialism. So this background event, it starts with what we already have gone through twice or thrice. So first is the coming onset, the coming of Homo sapiens on the canvas of life. Then the history of Earth, the history of Homo sapiens, it went through various stone ages, the first of which was Paleolithic, the second of which was Mesolithic, and the final, which we are going to talk next and which we have did, was the Neolithic. Neolithic means this new stone age. And Neolithic age, which is dated around somewhere between 7,000 and 9,000 years ago. It was also the time which is called the first revolution of mankind. So this way, Neolithic is not just age, not just an age, but also a revolution. And this revolution is attributed to various characteristics that is associated with the progress of this particular age. So those features, first of which is agriculture, then domestication of animals, third one is the settled life, fourth one is the use of metals, then it is followed by various advancement in pottery style, human settlement, a permanent settlement and sedentary lifestyle, and then gradually the onset of civilization. So because of all these features, Neolithic can be regarded as the template upon which the modern civilization started painting on the canvas. Then, fast forwarding to 3000 BCE, the time of Mesopotamian civilization. Mesopotamia, the cradle of civilization. It is called so because cradle of civilization because it is the first time that a single center, it gave three such prominent civilizations of that time. So Mesopotamia, which is situated in modern day Iraq, it gave birth to three civilizations. The first one, the Assyrian civilization, then the Sumerian civilization, and the Mesopotamian civilization. Then 3000 BCE is also the time when the recorded history started. So it is also the year of birth or the century or millennium of birth of writing. Then fast forwarding, we have had various other centers of civilization such as the Indus Valley civilization, the Egyptian civilization, which went on for 3,500 years. Then the Chinese civilization by the establishment of Shang dynasty, and various civilization which occurred near the modern day river valleys such as Nile, Indus, etc. Then again fast forwarding to 1000 BCE, which is known as the period of classical antiquity because it was the period when there was gradual emergence of various civilizations near the Mediterranean area. तो ये समझने के लिए let's have an anthropological look at the journey of Homo sapiens. So ये तो आप समझ सकते हैं कि this condition when the Homo sapiens appeared on Earth, they were totally different from what we see now. So let's see, this is equator map मेरा सही से नहीं बनेगा, but जितना भी बनेगा, you will have an idea of what I am going to communicate. So ये नॉर्थ अमेरिका, साउथ अमेरिका, अफ्रीका, ये टोटल यूरेशिया है, ये ऑस्ट्रेलिया है, this protrusion, this is India. And then there are three mountain chains: Ural Mountain, the Steppes, Appalachians. ये तीनों mountain chain, they work as a barrier that separates Europe from Asia. Otherwise, tectonically, Eurasian plate is a single landmass. Here. So, by various theory, it was postulated that the Homo sapiens, they first evolved in Africa, and from here they gradually spread to various parts via adaptive radiations. Then उस वक्त की situation में इंसान Homo sapiens, they could not have gone very far from the river valleys, क्योंकि उस वक्त के situation and technological advancement के हिसाब से river valley, they provided everything that any animal could need, and for which most of the earlier settlement they were situated near river valleys, जैसे Egyptian civilization Nile Valley हो गया, Indus Valley civilization Indus River के पास में हो गया. Then we, जैसे मैंने कहा है कि हम adaptive radiation से we spread into various areas wherever the time and situation provided opportunities, और यहीं से अफ्रीका से we went on one such strand, it went on to live among Iraq or in its river valleys, और यहाँ से they moved up to the Mediterranean Sea. Well, I forgot to mention the river valleys of Mesopotamia, which are Mesopotamia is situated between river Tigris and Euphrates, और फिर यहीं से they one stock of population they went up to live near the Mediterranean Sea, or this area Mediterranean, it became the hotbed of the next civilization and a founding river valley of Western civilization. So this 1000 BCE, a period of classical antiquity, it gave civilization such as the Etruscans, the Phoenicians, and the famed Roman civilization, the Greek civilization. So ये चारों civilization है which are the founder of modern Western civilization, और यहीं से we can say the political science, democracy, the rule of law, all of them started here. So the period of 1000 BC, then उसके बाद around 500 AD, the mounted invaders from highlands, especially from steppes, they wreak havoc on the established civilizations, and many such invaders such as the Slavic tribe, the Germanic tribe, the Vikings, the Mongols, इन सब ने they destroyed much of the civilizations of classical antiquity, and yet most of the civilization such as the Roman civilization, the Greek civilization, and उसके बाद ये जितने भी mountain invaders आए थे, they also established their own ethnic civilizations, जैसे Germanic tribe, Germany, Germanic tribe. It gave birth to German, then Vikings, Mongols, or Slavic tribe. All of them, many, they gradually established themselves, such as Scots हो गए, the Nordic countries, especially the Scandinavian countries, Sweden वगैरह हो गए. So, so all in all, in short time, many such tribe they got encultured and adopted the lifestyle of the newly found Europe and got themselves established there. फिर वक्त धीरे धीरे आगे बढ़ता गया. So this period from 580 to 14th century, 1480, it was a period of peace and prosperity, and somehow it was also known as a period of Afro-Eurasian peace by many historians. Then came the threatening and life-threatening Black Death of 14th century, which cost many millions of lives, and the period of peace and prosperity it came to an end. फिर यहाँ के बाद so जो एक linear motion था, the upward motion or linear or the homogenizing motion of civilization, it all came to an abrupt halt. लेकिन the impetus for civilization, the impetus for interconnection and migration and exchange, all of it, it was provided by new age of sail, new technological innovation. And this innovation, especially the first innovation in form of naval vessels, which could carry commodities, goods, and people to faraway distances, it, it led to the age of colonialism. क्योंकि जैसे ही the famed explorers such as Columbus, Magellan, Vasco da Gama, all of them, they started finding new virgin land, and on this virgin land, the Europeans, especially the European ruling society, they tried to establish themselves. They tried to gain an upper hand because on these virgin island, you have virgin countries, they found both raw material and manpower, which they were in dire need of. They were desperate to find alternative resources so that they could fuel their domestic economy. And this impetus, it was provided by the age of sail, and which led to age of colonialism. फिर धीरे धीरे they started a struggle, a race to grab as many colonies as possible, which is also known as a scramble for colonies. So ये society, these European society, they started grabbing colonies, और ये इसके साथ ही there was industrial revolution in England, which was provided by a few factors, जिसका background ये है. First, the naval advancement, newer colonies, expeditions, they found newer lands, and जहाँ भी गए, the indigenous people could not hold out for much long, क्योंकि इनके पास नेवल सुपीरियरिटी के अलावा इनके पास वेपन्स भी, जो सुपीरियर वेपन्स थे, एंड इंडिजिनस पीपल जहाँ कहीं भी वो गए, लाइक कैरेबियन हो गए, दी अमेरिकन आइलैंडर्स हो गए, इवन द ट्राइबल पीपल ऑफ न्यू वर्ल्ड, इंडिया की भी बात करते हैं, नो वन कुड हैव स्टॉप देम. सो फर्स्ट बिकॉज ऑफ सुपीरियरिटी ऑफ their weapons and the naval vessels. फिर उसके बाद पीस ऑफ वेस्टफेलिया, जिसके बारे में बात की थी. पीस ऑफ वेस्टफेलिया was also a time which provided a bickering halt to the struggle, the conflict that was going on between European countries. So Peace of Westphalia say all of them, they were recognized as sovereigns, where the right to self-determination, yeah, it was also recognized. And the Peace of Westphalia is really established peace for some time because of not only sovereignty and self-determinism, but also coexistence of all the countries. So ये हो गया. The third element was enlightenment. So all in all, Europe was at politically stable level. और इस political stability के कारण there were scientific advancement, scientific and technological advancement, जिसको which could be clubbed as industrial revolution. So industrial revolution के कारण they needed both raw material and manpower, and both of which could be provided if they acquire new territories. And those new territories, they were acquired in the third world of Africa, South America, and Asia. So that's how the Europeans they came to colonize around 75% of the world by that time, and both of which were fueled by the need to find raw material to fuel their ever growing domestic economy. And finally, yahi scramble for colonies, it led to the age of imperialism. And this age of imperialism was finally came to an end with the beginning of First World War. So this is the background. Let's have a look at the chapter. So Europe's influence on the rest of the world, it was substantially extended through the growth of imperialism, which were intensified during the late 19th century with the so-called scramble for colonies. ये हमने देखा है कि scramble for colonies means they were most of the European powers they were looking for the virgin countries, looking for virgin source of raw material and manpower, and वो उनको वहीं मिल सकता था, especially in the countries of third world, in the places of Africa and Asia. So this scramble for colony, it gradually started creating friction between the European countries. Then by the first decade of 20th century, much of the world has been brought under European control, with the British, French, Belgian, Dutch Empire, they controlling almost one third of world's population. So सिर्फ चार European power, they were controlling one third of population. Then the Belle Epoque, a French word, was accompanied by establishment of levels of economic globalization. So Belle Epoque is a French word which means a beautiful era, uh, which is which was a period of peace and prosperity in Europe between during the time of colonization to the outbreak of First World War. And this period was also the peak of European imperialism, क्योंकि उसके बाद the people of colony, because of the gradual the arousal of nationalism, uh, sorry, um, the gradual arousal of nationalist or ethnic tendencies, those tendencies which led people to demand their own right to self-determine who they are going to govern by. राइट टू सेल्फ डिटर्मिनेशन जो यूरोप के अंदर चल रहा था, जो पीस ऑफ वेस्टफेलिया में बताया था, राइट टू सेल्फ डिटर्मिनेशन, और यही राइट टू सेल्फ डिटर्मिनेशन was sought by the people of colonies. So those nationalist tendencies, they took the form of a revolution, और उसके कारण they could not, the western powers, the Europeans, they could not hold out for much long, और धीरे धीरे फर्स्ट वर्ल्ड वॉर और कुछ ही टाइम के बाद सेकेंड वर्ल्ड वॉर एंड the whole imperialism saga came to an end. फिर बात करते हैं द लिटरल मीनिंग ऑफ इंपीरियलिज्म. सो इंपीरियलिज्म is the political and economic control of a country by another country. So ये दोनों डायमेंशन जरूरी है. अब यहाँ भी we can take two definition. First one is traditional and the second one modern definition. So traditional definition, by imperialism, one country it politically and economically control another. इकोनॉमिक डायमेंशन तो जरूरी है क्योंकि वही रीजन होता है by which one country try to acquire or try to win over another country. इकोनॉमिक ऑब्जेक्टिव, इकोनॉमिक मोटिव नहीं हो तो और कोई मोटिव पॉसिबल ही नहीं है. So economic motives is always there, which is the core of the whole colonialism and imperialism drama. But the political control, it was you can say a characteristic of ट्रेडिशनल इंपीरियलिज्म. क्योंकि जिस टाइम की हम बात कर रहे हैं उस वक्त ट्रांसपोर्ट एंड कम्युनिकेशन वाज नॉट दैट डेवलप्ड. फिर उसके लिए the conqueror, the colonizer, or the empire builder, they needed to station themselves, अपने खुद या फिर अपने जो personnel हैं, they needed to be stationed in the host country so that it could be politically monitored, regulated and controlled. So politically control होगी तभी उसके resources हैं, they could be acquired and exploited. And second, the transport and communication वो उतना robust नहीं था या इतना फास्ट नहीं था, रैपिड नहीं था. सो उसके लिए भी दे नीडेड टू एंश्योर दैट the resources, the colonies or the territory they acquired, it remain in their firm grip. So ये उस वक्त का ट्रेडिशनल स्टोरी. द मॉडर्न स्टोरी सेम. अब जो रियल मोटिव है, इट इज अबाउट द इकोनॉमिक रिसोर्सेज, कि पर्टिकुलर कंट्री के जो भी रॉ मटेरियल्स है या मिनरल रिसोर्सेज है, even the capital resources भी हो सकते हैं, which may take the form of human capital, जो भी है. But if you narrow it down, you will find the objective motives lurking there. So modern definition में भी ये objective motive है. But modern में जो political stationing है, यानी जो political control है, it is not usually resorted to. यहाँ पे एक इनडायरेक्ट कंट्रोल हो सकता है, इनडायरेक्ट कंट्रोल ऑफ मॉडर्न इकोनॉमी और इनडायरेक्ट कंट्रोल ऑफ ए पर्टिकुलर टेरिटरी, especially in economic domain, is is usually resorted to. But political control, it is usually left to the people. क्योंकि अगर एक तो उन्होंने देखा था जितने भी सेकेंड वर्ल्ड वॉर के बाद जितने भी नेशनलिस्ट मूवमेंट हुए, जिसमें most of the capitalist society, most of the European colonizer, they had to face the backlash. So एक ये भी उनको है कि अगर politically control करते हैं, this becomes personal issue. It don't stay at the political level. वो फिर nationalist and ethnic tendency की वजह से the people take it by their heart. और ऐसे में फिर जो उनका रियल मोटिव है, it is often compromised. So modern definition में they only exploit people, they only exploit the host country, but in indirect way. So this indirect economic subordination is also known as neocolonialism. So ये हो गया इसकी definition के बारे में. फिर ये देखते हैं ये statement, the Belle Epoque was accompanied by the establishment of levels of economic globalization that are comparable with that of contemporary period. So इसका मतलब है कि the period Belle Epoque, जो आपको बताया, especially the time of imperialism. So this period was called the first instance of economic globalization. Globalization, इसको समझने के लिए first look at what globalization is. Globalization is the movement of people, goods, commodities, elements, culture, हर चीज का movement है, everything that can be moved. And then this movement in economic terms will be the movement of all the features, all the tools and traits that are associated with any economic activity. So उस वक्त के टाइम में the Belle Epoque, which is the time from 19th century to the outbreak of First World War. At this time, the European the European colonizers, they started exploiting the host countries, in which not just raw materials but people, they also got enmeshed in it. And it was also a time in which the economy of host country, they also uh, got integrated with the world economy. अब यही यही है economic globalization, that first instance in which the the economies of many countries, they got integrated with the world economy. And this Belle Epoque is the first such instance. And वो कैसे है? Let's take example. इंडिया में भी जब 1929 का टाइम आया, द ग्रेट डिप्रेशन, उस कारण जो प्राइसेस हैं, they crashed. And because of the crash of prices, Indian, the handicraft industry, Indian agriculture industry, Indian traders, all of them, they had to face a um, lot of pain, lot of losses. तो फर्स्ट इंस्टेंस देखिए कि दिस थिंग, कि ग्रेट डिप्रेशन एक वर्ल्ड वाइड इवेंट है, एक कह सकते हैं कि वर्ल्ड इकोनॉमी का इवेंट है. एंड बिकॉज ऑफ विच the members of a domestic economy, they suffered. So this could have happened only if the economy of host country was integrated with or aligned with the world economy. सेम अगर आप फर्स्ट वर्ल्ड वॉर की बात करें तो उस वक्त भी देयर वाज अ रीस्ट्रक्चरिंग ऑफ इंडियन इकोनॉमी, कि इंडियन इकोनॉमी जो जो प्रोडक्शन है, इट वाज गियर टुवर्ड्स मीटिंग द डिमांड्स ऑफ फर्स्ट वर्ल्ड वॉर. यानी स्पेशली जो भी फर्स्ट वर्ल्ड वॉर की डिमांड थी, सोल्जर्स के लिए जो क्लोथ्स हैं, जो गियर्स हैं, फिर जो वेपनरीज हैं, टूल्स हैं, टैंक्स हैं, जो भी है, राइफल्स वगैरह हो गए. सो उस वक्त इंडियन इकोनॉमी, इट वाज रीस्ट्रक्चर्ड टू मीट एन इवेंट दैट वाज ग्लोबल इन नेचर. फिर यही इंस्टेंस जो है, मैंने इंडिया के एग्जांपल दिए, बट हर जगह पे ये चीज हुई है, दैट बिकॉज ऑफ integration of economies of host countries, economies of colonized country with the world economy, which was a product of colonization, the Belle Epoque could be called the first instance of economic globalization. ये आपको समझ में आ गया होगा. Then the international trade as expressed in proportion of world's aggregate GDP was as great in the late 19th century as it was the early 20th century. And indeed, the United Kingdom, the world's foremost imperial power during that era, it was dependent on trade. वैसे इस पैराग्राफ का यही मतलब है कि Belle Epoque was a beautiful era from the eyes of colonizers. लेकिन for the colonial people, for the people of colonies, it was the time of extortion and exploitation. फिर ये वर्ल्ड मैप में दे सकते हैं. ग्रेट ब्रिटेन, it controlled lot many colonies, even many subcontinent and continents themselves. फिर imperialism की definition देखते हैं. So imperialism is a policy of extending the power of a state beyond its boundaries, typically through establishment of political, military, and economic control over other countries. This is the definition. फिर जो traditional definition है, imperialism involves establishment of formal political domination, यानी stationing of forces, stationing of permanent residence in the host country. लेकिन modern definition, which is a subtle form of imperialism, subtle means hidden form of imperialism, it nevertheless involves economic domination, but without the establishment of political control. That is why it is known as neo-colonialism. So जो modern capitalism है, it is also a form of neo-colonialism by the way of MNCs. ये हम बाद में देखेंगे. So this whole period up to the outbreak of First World War is characterized by substantial cross-border migration. So ये भी एक time था, especially between the period 1870 to 1910, the first time in mass scale पे cross-border migration started. So this immigration into the United States, it rose steadily, and most of the immigrants, they came from Germany, Ireland, but also from many other countries, especially the poorer European countries at the time. Then many such colonies, especially the Canada, Australia, and South Africa, which were colonies, big and rich colonies of that time, they attracted large number of migrants from the poorest part of Europe and Asia. And their migration, it was facilitated by technological advances in transport and communication. जो आपको बताया कि इंडस्ट्रियल रेवोल्यूशन, इसमें सब कुछ इन्वेंट हुआ, फ्रॉम पिन्स टू प्लेन्स. फिर ट्रांसपोर्ट के लिए आप जानते हैं कि स्टीम इंजन, फिर उसके बाद डीजल इंजन. सो ऑल इन ऑल इंडस्ट्रियल रेवोल्यूशन में when the 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 greed of the colonizer, the greed and the appetite, it kept increasing, and the, the colonizers, the European countries, they needed more resources, they needed more raw material to fuel their factories. And if raw material तो मिल गया उनको colonies से, but they still need many hands, manpower who can work there. फिर उस वक्त जैसे ही, जैसे आपको बताया, इकोनॉमिक ग्लोबलाइजेशन धीरे धीरे जो है, मनी एंड मोनेटरी एक्टिविटी, इकोनॉमिक एक्टिविटी, दे गॉट इनटू प्रोमिनेंस. जैसे आज हम वी टेक इट फॉर ग्रांटेड कि पैसा कैसे आता है, दैट वी मस्ट गेट इनटू सम वर्क, कोई जॉब लेनी होगी, ये करना होगा, वो करना होगा. बट वो पहले के टाइम में, व्हेन वी ग्रेजुअली केम फ्रॉम द नियोलिथिक रिवोल्यूशन टू द इंडस्ट्रियल रिवोल्यूशन, इस टाइम पे the money, it came into prominence by economic activities, and most of economic activities, they were associated with the manufacturing. So that's why the industrial revolution was both capital intensive and labor intensive activity. So capital in form of raw material, ये आ रहा था colonies से, साथ में काम करने के लिए जो slaves हैं, they also came, they were also brought into the European countries. But इनमें साथ में काम करने के लिए भी they needed workers, क्योंकि जब when any new form of economic enterprise is established, आपको पूरा setup जो है वो create करना पड़ता है. You need to create a full system. For example, अगर आपने इंडस्ट्रियल रेवोल्यूशन, यू आर मेकिंग प्लेन्स, देन आपको प्लेन खरीदने वाला भी तो चाहिए, फिर उन प्लेन में ट्रैवल करने वाला भी चाहिए. यू नीड अ टिकट विंडो, फिर उस टिकट विंडो पे काम करने वाला भी चाहिए. फिर टिकट विंडो पे काम करने के लिए जो प्रिंटर चाहिए, वो भी प्रिंटर मैन्युफैक्चरर्स चाहिए. तो इन द सेम वे, इंडस्ट्रियल रेवोल्यूशन में व्हेन यू क्रिएट डिमांड्स, देन यू आल्सो नीड टू क्रिएट द सप्लाई. सप्लाई अगर आपके पास फ्री ऑफ कॉस्ट बाय एक्सप्लॉइटेशन आ रही है, बट द सिस्टम नीडेड डिमांड्स, और उस डिमांड के लिए आपको, यू नीडेड टू गिव मनी टू पीपल. आप सिर्फ अपने लिए ही, अपने ही फैक्ट्री बना के आप प्रोडक्ट्स बना रहे हैं, लेकिन अगर लोगों के पास पैसा ही नहीं है, या लोगों को पता ही नहीं है कि व्हाट दैट थिंग इज, तो वो प्रोडक्ट आपका बिकेगा ही नहीं. इन द सेम वे, a new system created in which manufactured products, they became the new economic activity and new form of consumption. And this new form of consumption, it gradually created a feedback loop. कि मैन्युफैक्चरिंग होगी, कंजम्पशन भी इसी का होगा, और इसका कंजम्पशन करना है, यू नीडेड मनी, एंड दैट मनी विल बी गेट बाय वर्किंग इन दोज मैन्युफैक्चरिंग फैक्ट्रीज. So this is why all these resource rich colonies of raw material, they were worked by, they were manned by poorest part of people from poorest part of Europe. Then those demands, those that feedback loop जो अभी बताया, it was also facilitated by technological advances. क्योंकि people will adopt a technological advancement only if this adoption of such enterprise or adoption of such activity will save time and money both. Time and money both, or will ease their life. In simple, ease life. और यही हो रहा था. इससे पहले they were being driven by horse carts. लेकिन steam engine के बाद आने के बाद the the traveling time it reduced by considerable margins. फिर डीजल इंजन आने के बाद वो टाइम और ज़्यादा कम हो गया. So technological advancement, yes, they were gradually adopted because they ease life. And then वो फिर जो feedback loop है कि if you want to go reach somewhere early, then you must get a ticket. You must get on the train. If you want to get on the train, you must have ticket. If you want to have ticket, you must have money. And if you want to have money, work in any factory, work in any economic enterprise where you can get money. So this is how a new work economy, which was fueled and led by industrial revolution, came into prominence. So the new advancement of transport and communication, किस steam powered shipping, then railroads, फिर commercial application of telegraph. So ये new advancement और भी बहुत सारे थे. So ये सब they help, they ease life of people, and they fuel the feedback loop I talked about. So these key technologies resulted from heavy industrialization of 19th century's industrial revolution, and they were central to creating the global as a space for politics. So जो हम फर्स्ट वर्ल्ड वॉर की बात करते हैं, उसकी हिस्ट्री भी is enmeshed in this industrial revolution or the heavy industrialization caused by it. So this period, this is what scholar Scholl called it as an incipient globalization, and this period came to an abrupt end with the outbreak of First World War. And this time was also that was brought to an end by the same factors that created the colonies, the industrial revolution, and the heavy industrialization. So those factors, especially the appetite for new resources. So यही appetite, यही भूख, यही लालच, यही greed, which created the naval vessels, which brought the many states together by Peace of Westphalia, that created industries and industrial revolution. यही greed है, it led to conflicts. वही conflict, they, when summed up, manifested in form of the First World War. And after the First World War, this golden age of free trade, it came to an end and led to a return to economic nationalism and backlash against immigration. And finally, some political scientists, they have interpreted the outbreak of First World War as a consequence of Belle Epoque globalization, the first instance of globalization, so much so that it brought the European state conflict with one another as they struggle for resources and prestige in a shrinking world. So the same political terminology या geopolitical terms में कह सकते हैं कि this quest for resources, this quest for profit, the motive and the ever increasing appetite for profit, It led to all the whole political drama which finally culminated at the First World War. और फिर उसके बारे में we will see in the next chapter. So this is it. Thank you very much.